Hey everybody, Chris here, and this is another Dark Avengers comic book review. We are talking about comic books that were released on December 8th, 2010. We have 3 more Wednesdays, I believe. That's the 8th, the 11th, 20th. Yep, 3 more Wednesdays in this month. The last Wednesday of this month will probably be reviewed next year, and then we go into the year 2011. And I'm looking forward to DC Comics. They are promoting in the back of all their comics. I hate to show a comic book. We'll be discussing this comic book in just a second. They're promoting all of their comic book variant. Well, I hope they're not variant covers. I hope they're original covers.
Awesome.
Every cover is going to have a symbol of the superhero. For example, Superman symbol, and then Superman underneath.
I like that.
I'm hoping to catch at least, even the comics I don't read. I'm hoping to catch like the whole collection of them, minus 1 or 2, because some of them are just stupid. But for the most part, I want to catch all of the covers. News of the Thor trailer has been released. For those of you interested in the Thor movie, go check it out. It's all over YouTube. Announcements about Xbox. For those of you Xbox players, the game I used to play when I was younger at arcades, X-Men Arcade, is going to be available December 15th. So go check that out if you're interested in downloading Xbox arcade games. You're damn straight I'm getting it, because that's nostalgic moments times 1,000. And next year there's X-Men Destiny, which is going to be at the end of next year. It's around this time next year, so you got a year to wait for that. Looking forward to the Captain America movie they keep talking about. And yeah, like
that
Green
game
Lantern.
brought back so many memories when I heard it was coming out. Like, that's awesome.
Which one?
The X-Men game.
I know, I'm excited for that.
Really fun.
And today Amber actually has a book she'll be reviewing, and it's of Runaways. Also, this is going to be a huge episode. As far as I hear, this is actually a test one. I'm praying that this works, because if not, I'm going to kill Joe, because he's the one that actually messengered it to me.
I've seen people testing it.
A while back, the beginning or the end of last year, YouTube gave me a trial. I could upload videos as long as I wanted, as long as it was under 2 gigabytes. Then they took it away after 3 weeks, and now rumor is, or everybody's talking about, as long as you have no strikes against you, which I don't, you can upload videos as long as you want.
Up to 2 gigs.
Up to 2 gigabytes.
And
So
your
it could be
account's in
as
good
long
standing.
as long as I want, and I'm praying I never get caught on any type of strike or bullshit, because on our group we got a bullshit strike for a video we posted literally 3 years ago. Won't get into that. That's a group thing, group discussion. Go check out Brooklyn Boys 13. Bless you, it's true. It's on our recent 360 from this past weekend. Anyway, getting into comic books. First off, only DC Comics this week, guys. Nothing from Marvel. There was a Wolverine What If. Artwork stunk. I'm not even going to get into that, so I didn't get it. DC Universe Holiday One-Shot. There is another holiday book coming out this month, starring Lara Flees. This is the DC Universe one. All the DC characters together. 6 stories. The whole book is absolutely, completely, utterly boring, with mediocre artwork. The only story that I actually enjoyed in here, you guessed it, is the Superman one, where he talks about a kid who got 3rd-degree burns, and he says he's a superhero. It's a very heart-wrenching story. It's at a parade. Other than that, not really that much. The last story with the Legion was okay, but the rest of the stories were pretty... It starts off with Christmas in the past, and it ends with Christmas in the future. And that's basically it. And the last story didn't even really feel like Christmas. It is Christmas, but it's really...
No Christmas themes, really.
No, if you're not a fan of Superman, I'm being honest, for $4.99, get the Lara Flees one, skip this one. I think they actually crapped out on this story because of the Lara Flees Christmas special that's coming out. So, yeah. Rest of this week, really good. Starting off with The Flash, number 7. Captain Boomerang goes to speak with Reverse Flash and wants to know about the future. This is the last brightest day tie-in. This is the last brightest day tie-in. Then we're going into Flashpoint for the Flash. There are actually 2 Flash comics this month. There's this one, and then in 2 weeks, not this week, but the following week, there's Flash number 8, which is the origins of the Reverse Flash. Why?
Reverse Flash, exactly? What are they doing with Flash now?
Reverse Flash. You don't know who the Reverse Flash is? I'll show you the
I know, right?
The artwork in this book is sweet. That's the Reverse Flash.
Oh,
see,
wow.
This is an example. Amazing artwork.
And good artwork, yeah.
So, in the beginning of this comic, you get a background story of Captain Boomerang. I guess it's for people who are jumping onto the series. You know, his origins all the way up to current day, and while they're giving you his origins, he's talking about him joining the Rogues and his mother who passed away, and it leads all the way up to his imminent death. And while all this is going on, he's infiltrating to talk with Reverse Flash, who says who says he could break free, and Boomerang says he could break him free. So he says, "I'm curious, go ahead and try." And Captain Boomerang sets him free and says, "I want to know about the future." And Reverse Flash tells him that you're nothing, and he says that's expected, but I want to know what all this means. And he's like, "It's like a boomerang. You've thrown so many bad things. Karma's coming back to get you." And Reverse Flash runs off, and in the very end, I shouldn't have put it away, the Rogues show up. Now the Rogues hate Reverse Flash almost as much as they hate the original Flash. So thus the Reverse Flash is no friend of the Rogues either. And Captain Boomerang just set him free. Not a good thing to do if you want to get back into the Rogues, because this is where it ends for Captain Boomerang and Brightest Day, I'm guessing. Next issue is all about the origins of the Reverse Flash. Everything now is leading in Flash Comics to Flashpoint.
Flash is always
I like it.
I'm
looking forward to it. I'm actually enjoying this. The Flash did not make an appearance in this comic at all. Probably won't make an appearance in the next comic. This was an origin of Captain Boomerang. Next issue is going to be an origin of Reverse Flash, and then I guess Flashpoint begins in January.
That's cool.
I'm excited. 2011 is starting to look really good for a lot of titles. Now, the return of a title. Actually, I got two. I have this week's title and I have last month's title. The return of a title that I am now officially regretting dropping, and I'm going to have to get at least one or two trade paperbacks to catch myself up on the series. Red Robin, number 17. This was last month. It was the first Batman comic to don the logo of Batman Incorporated, which I think is a bunch of meh. But anyway, Red Robin, Tim, is going around. He's in Tokyo, and he's trying to recruit people for the Batman Incorporated. And he meets up with one of the Batgirl, the original not the original Batgirl, the second Batgirl, and he gives her back the costume, and he says, "This is the Bat family. We're all a Bat family." And basically, she takes it, and that's it. She keeps the suit, and she leaves. The artwork in this comic is amazing. He also breaks out Link. I hope I say her name right. Lynx? I don't know. From jail, because he has a feeling that there's something going on. There's a little romantic kiss part. And then the best part, in my opinion, of the entire comic, Bruce Wayne Batman shows up. And they have this is like the reunion of Tim Drake and Batman. The whole thing from the first issue. Tim Drake was right. It took 17 issues, 17 months, but Tim Drake was right. Bruce Wayne's alive. They have a nice moment together. It's really, it's heartwarming moment. And in the end, that's how this issue ends. So in this issue, basically, Tim Drake and Batman have their reunion. They have that whole father-son, because Tim Drake is now basically like Bruce's son. Tim Drake, in my opinion, is more along the lines of a Batman than Dick Grayson. Dick Grayson basically split off and became Nightwing. He became his own thing. Yeah, Tim Drake is Red Robin, but he has a lot more of Bruce's characteristics. He knows how to really pull a Batman. He could be Batman. Not yet. He's too young, but he could be Batman.
Junior version, right?
Yeah. I love when Bruce says, "So, Damian, what do you think of him?" And he's like, "Well, Dick's doing a great job with him." And he's like, "Yeah, but what do you think?" He's like, "Well, like I said, Dick is doing a great job with him." He's like, "Uh-huh." So, Batman Incorporated starts here. The recruitment and everything starts here. And that's where this issue leaves off. Then we go into Red Robin number 18, which is this month's Red Robin. And Red Robin is in Russia. His friend, who is a hacker, his name is Lonnie. He's in a comatose state right now, but he's still like a super hacker, and he's hacking in, and they're looking into the crime and everything. And Red Star, who was a friend of Teen Titans, makes an appearance. Him and Tammy are trying to make a deal so that in Russia they'll put up the Neon Bat. Basically, Russia would support them, Batman Incorporated. And they make the deal, and then this woman breaks in and wants to kill the guy that Tim just made the deal with.
Yeah, kind of see that.
Yeah, and basically Tim, as Red Robin, goes off to find this girl to ask her questions, and then she's like, well, this guy killed my family, and it's like, and Red Star shows up, and Tim's like, this is more of a remorse, this is why she's going after this guy, and in the end, they find out about this guy called the Calculator, and everybody gets knocked out. Tammy, who is his basic, like, Alfred, Tammy's like his Alfred, she's like the tech person in the background, so all three of them end up knocked out, and you don't know what happened, and I love how it says, next issue, you find out what happened. Red Robin is really good. I regret dropping it all those, about 5-6 months ago. I wish I could get the back issues, but 2-1, I'll never catch up. The artwork is still great after all this time. The story is really interesting. The only reason I dropped it was because of the whole Batman Returns thing. It was getting very boring and very, just. But now that Bruce is back, Red Robin's getting his own. Exactly. Because now it doesn't matter. It's not the search for Bruce Wayne anymore. Now it's just Red Robin, trying to get Batman Incorporated up, just being Red Robin now, and it's really good. Would I suggest Red Robin? For those of you who don't know Red Robin already, a good jump-on point is 17 because it's a standalone issue for Batman Incorporated, and then get this month's number 18 because it's part 1 of the new ongoing. And with that, I'm going to stop. I'm not going to do the comic of the week yet. I'm going to let Amber do her book because there's no split. It's all DC Comics this week, so I'm going to skip the comic of the week. I'm going to turn it over to Amber, and then we'll get into the comic of the week. So, go ahead, Amber.
Okay. Hi, guys. Where to start? This is the newest Runaways that I was able to get my hands on. It's a lot further on than what I started on. As you guys know, I did, like, the first and second book. I was unable to find the third yet. This is, like, the newer edition. Problem is, there are characters in here missing from the season that I was reading to this season.
The first season.
I don't know if it's first or not.
Oh, okay.
But the main characters, Gertrude, Molly, Chase, and Caroline, are all here. But, Gertrude isn't in here. Nico, not Gertrude, Nico, Molly, Chase, and Caroline are all in here. But Gertrude and, I can't think of his name. He was the dark-skinned fella. I can't think of his name. Alex. That's it. Alex. Are not in here. I think maybe they died. I have to say the artwork in here, I was a bit turned off by at first because everybody just looks completely different. They look kind of childlike.
Yeah, the artist who did this also did the Venom series way back in the early 2000s. Speaking of which, Venom is actually making a new series. It's been announced for January, but we'll get into that in a little while. I'm just looking through this comic to make sure I hit all my points, so keep going.
I'm going to do a quick rundown of what was in this. Apparently, Carolina's parents had this agreement with another planet, because they're from a different planet, if you remember. And that planet destroyed their planet. And so the survivors of her home planet came to take her to avenge the deaths of about 7,000 people. Or 17,000, I can't remember exactly. One of those numbers. And one of the new characters in here, Alexander, hang on, let me make sure I'm getting the name right. Exavin, sorry, female. Apparently she and Carolina were both girls or in love, and Exava turns out to be one of the, what's the name of that place again? Hate not remembering.
Oh yeah, believe me, that hits me sometimes when I'm in a comic book and drives me nuts.
But apparently there's some new people that are also not from this planet.
Aliens?
Yeah, I think so. And the guy that, Chase gets a job. And apparently his boss is some type of freak. I think he's some type of demon. And he's trying to figure out why his boss could survive a heart attack and falling down like 16 stories or something like that, and he thinks he's a zombie, so he's asking his mom what she knows about zombies.
I know a lot about zombies.
I can find it in here.
Walking Dead ended awesomely. You didn't watch it. You didn't watch it.
No.
I'm getting the DVD. It's coming out in March. Season 1's coming out in March. It was really good.
Skrull. A Skrull. Skrull.
She was
she's
a Skrull.
Yeah, Skrull.
Yeah, there was a whole
Okay.
thing about Skrulls.
She's a Skrull, and Carolina is a... What is it? I've been saying the name several times. Magistane. The Skrulls destroyed the Magistane's planet, but this Skrull and Carolina, who's a Magistane, are in love. You find that out near the end when Xavin takes Carolina's place because she can shapeshift, turns into Carolina, goes
Skrulls
with
can
them.
do that, yes.
And, yeah, Carolina's trying to stop her from leaving, and she gets knocked out, and then she remembers what happened before she got knocked out. Which sort of tells you they were in love, the fact that they made out.
Uh-huh.
But I can't wait to see what happens next. I really can't.
Hopefully the artist is different.
Even though the artist is different, I can look past the kind of shitty artwork to see what the story's actually about. I would like to know a bit more about the other characters, so I think I'm going to continue to look for the other books so that I can find out where I left off. But with that, I know I did a lot longer last time and more in depth, but the main points are the Magistanes tried to kill the entire group that was with them, and there was a spell cast by Nico that scattered them and scattered the spirit of what was with the group. The group broke the spell, the other people came back, and that broke the spell completely, and then the battle started up again. Oh, I have to show you one part that was so funny. Apparently, a big battle started going on between the Runaways and the Magistanes, and a helicopter tried to come in, a news helicopter, to record, and it gets hit by like a ray of power.
And she said she wasn't going to do like the last time.
She saves it by saying, "Yes, I can stop them like this. Balloons!" The Thanksgiving Day Parade. Balloons.
Thanksgiving details.
It's funny. It's just funny.
I can see the cartoon-like
It
artwork.
really is.
Yeah, the artist is very cartoony.
Yeah. I have to read one part. Okay.
Okay,
One
Mrs.
part-
I'm not going into
I'm
detail.
not.
Go ahead.
I'm not.
Read it.
Okay, this part is hilarious, I think. Okay, I'm just gonna read quickly through this page.
Page now.
Oh,
You have to learn about what he's talking about.
I don't like the Runaways, so I really don't care.
Here is something
Well, at least
from
you're
my
getting an
little
example
Val
of what you have to
pals.
do when you get a book.
Might be interested in. Seems like a local gang of super freaks are
If
causing
you're not
public
passionate about it,
disturbance
don't read it.
at the Queen Mary in Long Beach. Groan. You know how your Uncle Val feels about this kind of thing. Nothing gets the venom pumping like things like these lawless vigilantes posing as heroes, causing more damage than natural disasters. And you agree with me, don't you, my little monkeys?
Lady Gaga reference!
Yeah, so let's show them how we feel. If you can hear my voice, go. Go to Long Beach and run these malicious mercenaries into the ocean. And the people that are listening to him within this stage are like, he's cool. It's like, yeah, they've always been crazy. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say. Passing it back to Chris.
That was short, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Very short.
It actually was, considering I would have gone page by page if this was my
Take away the book.
Oh boy, yeah.
Now I'm actually pissed that
Moving along, okay.
tore.
Going on.
She might break the record
No.
for the longest video on YouTube.
Somebody
posted
tore.
since this new thing came on.
Look.
Yeah, that's a
Mike.
library book.
Somebody
go for 2
tore
gigs.
a library book.
They do that. You know, this is
Hey.
Brooklyn, right?
Yeah, they do that a lot.
That's Brooklyn. That's Brooklyn. Now, comic book of the week. I didn't do it. Comic Book Resources has been quoted on the cover of this comic book, and I will quote before I show you this comic book. A superhero tale seasoned with mystery and sprinkled with teenage drama. 5 out of 5 stars from Comic Book Resources. Superboy
And you're
number
complaining
2.
about me going into detail. You're reading
It's
the cover.
on the cover. I ain't reading anything in the book. Anyway, so we take up Poison Ivy's. I was tempted, very tempted, to pay the extra $3 to get the variant cover of Superboy number 2. But the way they drew Superboy on the variant cover, I'll stick to the regular.
What was it?
It had Poison Ivy with Superboy's shirt on, and it was torn, but Superboy's face was like. So,
Okay.
no.
He
So,
was happy.
oh yeah, and the artist was beautiful. I just didn't like the way he drew Superboy, so I just said, fuck it, I'm keeping the original, and that's it. Anyway, in this issue, Poison Ivy is saying, something's wrong with Smallville. It drew me here from Gotham. We need to team up and stop it. And, of course, Superboy is very, very reluctant, but he does. And Simon, Simon wants to be a sidekick, but he leaves Simon and Crypto, and he says, watch Parasite until I can come back. And Simon takes samples of Parasite, and he goes to his lab, and he's examining Parasite's blood. I've learned to ignore that, by the way. And,
Your kiss.
no, you weren't.
Yes, I was.
Where?
On your cheek, but I missed very drastically.
Yes, you did. My cheek is over here. If you feel bad, you can kiss my cheek, honey. It's okay. It's been a long night. So he examines Parasite's blood, and he decides to use... Simon is like a scientist. I love you too, honey. Anyway, Simon is a scientist, and he takes Parasite's blood, and he looks at a frog, and he goes, So then we go back to Poison Ivy and Superboy, who come to a farm. And I forgot the name of the farmer. Of course I did. Why wouldn't I forget the name of an unimportant character that I don't give two craps about?
He reads through too.
Yes, he does, but he loves the artwork. He's hooked up to this machine. Mr. Gillum?
Where?
Gillum. Mr. Gillum.
Gillum.
So Simon leaves Crypto with Parasite, and he goes, like I said, he's back in his lab doing all that. So eventually, of course, Poison Ivy turns on Superboy and tells him that she wants to take the machine back to Gotham so she can examine it because it's making all the plant life huge. So, of course, Poison Ivy's going to want it. So Simon shows up with Parasite frogs. I kid you not. Look at these frogs. Why do I even put these things away half the time? They are Parasite frogs. Parasite frogs. Frogs bonded with Parasite's DNA that suck the power right out of Poison Ivy. Land on Poison Ivy, suck her power. Simon saves Superboy. He takes the bomb, or what seems to be a bomb, up into the sky, and it doesn't explode. It just does this.
It cracks like a seed.
No, it just goes, and then it melts. And Superboy doesn't understand what happened. Nobody knows what happened yet, so he goes back, and he tells Simon, we're going to take Mr. Gimel to the hospital, Poison Ivy to the Gotham PD, and then we're going to come, and then we'll talk about this team-up, because Simon wants to team up with him to figure out what's going on, because it's obvious Poison Ivy didn't do this. And then they see a piece of the machinery has weird, encrypted, alien-like writing on it. So Simon says, I'll examine it. Superboy flies over and says, I'll be back, and we can talk about this whole team-up thing and everything like that. So it's definitely alien. And now there was, Mr. Gibble, before he got knocked out, was talking about finding a broken silo. And basically, in the end, you get a little glimpse of these old people who look like old-time farmers talking about Superboy not being able to, will never be able to find the broken silo. And the bomb really was a scanner. So they basically scanned Superboy's entire physiology. Why, I don't know. You don't find out until the next issue. But it's starting to develop into quite an interesting story. I can't wait to see where things go from here. Basically, these farmers want to take over Smallville. A small town has villains. This proves that Smallville can be awesome. I was saying, this proves that Smallville could be just as awesome as Metropolis. Superboy...
Small town.
Yes. Superboy is an amazing title. Yes, it has a to be continued feel, but it has its own story in this comic. The story ended, and it gave you a little bit into what's coming, but it didn't leave you up at a huge cliffhanger yet. So, best comic of the week, comic of the month, series premiere of the year. Love it.
What is comic book of the year?
Superboy.
Yeah, 'cause what do you remember is the recent most?
Shoot, it's awesome. Come on.
Yeah.
I love Superboy. If you haven't
Sounds-
picked it up yet, it really is.
Poison Ivy, I liked it. They bought her
Poison
on-
Ivy. The
heard
artwork
from her
is
for a
great. The only thing I have a problem with is, I hate to pull it out yet again,
The cover?
is no, not the cover. The cover's fine. The eyes. Look at Superboy's eyes. They have a very yellow
seductive.
tint. Very yellow tint.
Yeah, looks almost
His
yellow.
eyes are very tinty yellow. I'm trying to find a good example of
They're
all of
all
the
yellow.
eyes. All the eyes look yellow
That's the
tinted.
best example.
This
Pretty
one.
good.
They all have very
Oh.
yellow tints. It's like they haven't slept in a while.
Yeah, they all do. Actually.
But I love the way he drew Poison Ivy. The artist was
Yeah.
awesome. He drew Poison Ivy really well. Drew Superboy really well. I like the new hairstyle. I'll never.
Lifelike.
I'll always
Of
miss
course
the old
he likes
hairstyle.
Poison Ivy.
I don't know what the reference. I think it was
Like
a
Comic
tool.
Book Resources says, a 5 out of 5. Amazing story, continuing on strong, really awesome.
Why do you like Poison
And
Ivy?
I don't like her that way. I said that he drew her
Oh,
really
so
well.
you
People
like
don't
her.
draw her really well. People haven't drawn Poison Ivy really well for a
She's
while.
been good in
Best
the
Friends,
Exactly.
awesome comics.
The
What?
reason I was asking is because my dad likes Poison Ivy too.
Your dad probably likes Poison Ivy because of the way she just dresses. I like Poison Ivy because she's a
No,
really
he said she was
awesome
cool.
villain.
Oh, she's a good villainess.
Her and Harley Quinn,
She
they're both great
I like Catwoman.
villainous, and
I like
Joker.
her a lot.
Joker's a really good Batman
Yeah.
villain also.
Oh, he's one of the
Lex
best.
Luthor. Lex
Yeah.
Luthor's another one, but Joker has like a weird kind of
Yeah.
homicidal craziness
I
to
know.
him. What?
Twisted, but fun.
Yes. Superboy number 2. Awesome comic of the week, comic of the year, comic of the month. Get this series. You're only one issue behind. Grab it.
Runaway.
Dead wrong. Do you think they should get it or
Is
not?
it dead wrong to get or dead wrong not to get?
Red Robin 18 and 17. If you want to start the series, get both these comics. Really good series. I regret dropping it. I hope I can catch up.
I do like this, but I do say you should catch up before you get to it.
True.
Not a jump on friendly
Yeah.
book. Flash number 7. The origins of Captain Boomerang. It was okay. The whole Reverse Flash thing made the comic book worth buying. Holiday Special, DC Universe Holiday Special number 1 shot, Special 2010. I'm being honest, the Larfleeze one is going to be better. If you're a Superman fan, it's a nice Superman tale. The artwork is there, but other than that, the other stories really just don't make it.
I'm taking grease.
They just don't. These stories in this issue don't really aren't worth the $5 that the paper is printed on. For those of you who didn't know, comic books are now being taxed yet again. On Midtown, they actually are charging a tax now on comic books, which isn't cool. Isn't cool, but it is what?
We are comic book friends with our comic.
Amber,
What?
go drink coffee.
I can't.
Why?
I'll pass that one.
That's why I want you to drink it. Anyway, next week is a huge week. Amber has a comic coming actually from me that I ordered for her next week. I have an oldie comic that is based off of one of my favorite Xbox games that's coming next week. Lots of good stuff. We have 3 Wednesdays left in December. You know that that DC and Marvel are gonna end this year at a bang, with a bang. And they're going to begin next year with an even bigger bang. I am so looking forward to DC
good
Comics
previews for you.
covers next year. I am looking forward to it so much.
By the way,
What?
the lights.
Yes, it is officially decorative for Christmas.
And Merry Christmas, Happy.
We're not there yet. We're not there yet. There will be a Dark
I'm
Avenger
not.
Christmas special. You
Merry
could save
Christmas,
that.
Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa.
Hanukkah's over.
I know. Still happy.
When is Kwanzaa?
I'm supposed to know.
I don't know if you're supposed to know or not.
I'm not.
Happy holidays all around.
Happy holidays all around.
Here's your
Definitely.
best Christmas present ever. Superboy number 2 and get Superboy number 1.
Yeah.
I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Catch you guys back here soon. There is a Spider-Man and Superboy show coming up, probably right after this review sometime. So we will see you there. I will see you guys next week for another Dark Avengers comic book review. A lot of comics next week. Fortunately, this is the last short week, and pray that the other 2 weeks are short also. So I will see you guys next week, and I hope that I don't have to cut this video. I'm praying that I could get it all up as one episode.
Later.
And if I don't, you won't be seeing him next week because he'll be dead.
Yeah, no.
Peace.
Yeah, okay, sure.
And chicken grease.
See you later,
Later.
guys. Take care. See you next week.